Now we get to verse 10. Now we get into some fresh territory, some breaking some new snow here. Then, when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite official heard of it, they were deeply disturbed that a man had come to seek the well-being of the children of Israel. I mean, this is when the music begins to change. This is when everything starts going a little bit dark and the drums start beating a little bit lower. And all of a sudden you say, what's going on? Well, here we have Nehemiah. Nehemiah is passing through the empire. He's presenting these letters to the governors. And he has the captains, he has the army, he has the horsemen with him, and they're escorting him down to Judah. Now, word has already gotten to Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite. We are always talking about the Ite brothers. You got your Moabites, you got your Ammonites, you got your Edomites, you got your Amalekites, the Philistines, even though they're not of the Ites, but they're still closely related. And you realize who these guys are. And you might as well just expect it. There's always going to be a push against the will of God. Nehemiah is out there. He is working in the purpose of God. He has vision and he has provision. But there's always the Sanballats and the Tobiahs of the world. They've heard of it. Word is getting around. Oh, he got a text. He says, what? Well, what is it? Tobiah asked Sanballat. I just got a text from the governor of a northern region that there's this guy that's coming named Nehemiah to help the Jews. When they heard of it, they were deeply disturbed that a man had come to seek the well-being of the children of Israel. These were the guys that had been stepping over the stones, going into Jerusalem, taking whatever they wanted and leaving. And they were probably high officials. They could have been the governors themselves, and maybe we'll hear about it. They were officials. Sanballat the Horonite, verse 10. Tobiah the Ammonite, official. When they heard of it, they're deeply disturbed. Why? They've been ripping off God's people. And you say, oh man, what we could do without the Sanballats and the Tobiahs of the world. It would be so. Wait a minute. I believe that the Sanballats and Tobiahs of the world are part of God's design. Oh, I know I'm going to get in trouble for that one, but I'm going to tell you. Listen to me for a little while. I believe is that Sanballat and Tobiah and every enemy, we saw it in Ezra's life. It was the same spirit. It was just some different names that were there. But I believe is that God allows this in our life to keep us sharp, to keep us on task. How much do you believe in what you are doing will be determined many times when the Sanballats and the Tobiahs of the world began to show up to try to crash your party. And we're going to see these guys. This is not just the first time that we're going to see them. They are disturbed. They haven't even met Nehemiah yet, but they were already disturbed. Why? Because they had been taking advantage of those who were living in Jerusalem. Probably those who had been living in Jerusalem had always been a thorn in their side. There'd always been those that would just say, oh, if we didn't have the Jews here, we could really, because these guys, they want to serve their own gods. They want to pray to their own way. They never want to conform to what we're doing. And we always have, it's that Ezra guy. If we didn't, well, the same way that we talk about if it just wasn't, pastors, leaders of congregations, You're always going to have your Sanballat and your Tobiah there, and it seems like when you get a one, maybe two of them show up in your congregation. They're always going to be there. But you know what? The Sanballats and the Tobiahs of the world are meant to draw you to your knees and to find out, do I really believe in what I'm doing? Am I really invested in this? Or the first speed bump in the road that comes along and I'm going to book out of there right away? No. Sanballat and Tobiah is going to be around for a while. They're deeply disturbed that a man has come to seek the well-being of the children of Israel. They're concerned about this guy showing up. They're wanting to know who's going to rain on my parade. Someone's going to crash my party. Oh yeah, all kinds of party crashing going on over here. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. Nehemiah's there already. And I bet you Sanballat and Tobiah have been kind of looking out over the wall. Well, the rubble, because there wasn't a wall. They're looking out around and say, well, I hear this guy's Uh-oh, there's a caravan coming. There's some soldiers with him over there. I think that's the guy. We're deeply disturbed that this guy is trying to help the Jews out. Because you know what? We're so far away from Artaxerxes that we can kind of do whatever we want to do and nobody knows the difference. You know, he's 1,500, 2,000 miles away from us, and we can just take advantage of him. And by the time the complaints would get over to Artaxerxes, things have changed. He's got other things to worry about besides what's going on. And all of a sudden, we have a man straight from the throne who's coming. I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. So this is where Mr. Nehemiah shows up. And as he shows up, he looks around, looking all around the area that is there. And for 3 days, he says, we've been on a long journey. We're going to take a rest to take Ezra, what was it, like 5 months or 6 months to travel from Babylon to Jerusalem. Anyway, it doesn't tell me how long it took him to get there, but he rests for 3 days. He says, and then I arose in the night, verse 12. I and a few men with me. I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, nor was there any animal with me except the one on which I rode. So here is where Nehemiah, keep wanting to call him Jeremiah, I guess Jerusalem and Nehemiah together in my mind make Jeremiah. But Nehemiah, he arises at night. After 3 days, he arose. Oh my God. Could we be talking about resurrection? We better not take that one. People might not be able to chew on that one too much. Then I arose in the night, I and a few men with me. I told no one what my God had put to do in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Okay? Time for action. Time for us to do something. The time for planning, the time for just talking, the time now, what he's going to do. But what he starts off doing is let's assess the situation. Let's see, we're going to have to present a plan to the people that are here. So let's assess the situation. I arose at night, I and a few men with me. I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. You know, he understands that there's a time for everything under the sun. And just to go over there and announce as a arrival for revival, and to do he says, let's just look it over first. Let's see what we have in front of me, so that when we do talk to him, we talk to him not only in authority, but we talk to them in wisdom. I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, nor was there any animal with me, except the one on which I rode.